We've just come back from a holiday down in Tasmania, and between the 12th and the 23rd of March 2019, and we flew straight down to Hobart and stayed at Eagle Hawk Neck, and we did well, we spent time around Hobart, and during that time we went on an amazing cruise, a Pentecost cruise down the coast of the Tasman Peninsula. And then we travelled, this is the route that we travelled across to Queenstown via Lake St Clair, and we did another cruise along in Macquarie Harbour and up the Gordon River, and we travelled up to Corinna, and in Corinna we did another cruise along the Pieman River, and from Corinna we travelled up to the north coast and along the north coast from Burnie down to Launceston and spent a day there, and then we travelled back to Hobart via Richmond and took the plane away. Our trip to the north coast took us up to Burnie, where we stopped just to have a look around, and then along the north coast to Launceston, where we spent a night. And Launceston is not right on the coast, it's up the Tamar River, with several creeks and rivers and a gorge and things. So we spent the night in Launceston, in fact 2 nights in Launceston. After that we travelled from Launceston down sort of the Midland Highway back to Hobart and flew home. It's Thursday the 21st of March 2019, and we're travelling up from the west coast of Tasmania via this little town called Burnie. You can see the sea in the distance there. And this place here, I imagine, once upon a time, would have been a pub maybe, I don't know, or a bank or something. They have kind of nice road signs in luminous yellow, so they stand out from all the other signage, and you can see what the name of the road is, which is quite useful. I'll just give you a look up the other end. These bricks seem to be kind of characteristic here, the use of brick, and along there is the Baptist church, and a whole lot of services happening there, so seems like the Baptists are doing well in Burnie. And this is a maker's centre in Burnie. Burnie's sort of now billing itself as the city of makers, and there's a lot of paper making over there, creative paper, and there's these pulp paper mache sculptures, all sorts of artifacts, little wooden artifacts and things like that. And then, for example, antique tools and violins, and so it's nice. This gives you, these are cheese boards or bread boards made of native Tasmanian wood. I hope you can see the labels, but to give you an idea of how beautiful the wood is. On the left is blackwood. The light one is huon pine, and this one is sassafras, this one here, sassafras, and then the last one on the right is myrtle, which is actually notophagus. So those are the 4 main kinds of wood in this craft centre, and these are all being sold as cheese boards or bread boards. So rather beautiful. For example, have a look at the sassafras, and then beautiful huon pine, which is a lovely smell, and then the blackwood, and finally the myrtle. So gorgeous. The boardwalk at Burnie, and you can see that's a building belonging to the University of Tasmania, and then you come around here, and this grey structure here is the Makers Centre, where we've just spent some time and bought some things and had a coffee and some scones. And this is a rather nice view of the houses up on the hill in Burnie, which must have a spectacular view of out over the sea. I'll show you what it looks like. So if you come around, they're doing a bit of construction here. Here's the boardwalk, and then around to the beach. Apparently there are little penguins along this beach, and then out there in the distance, the sort of headland, and out to the mole and the breakwater there of the harbour. That gives you some idea of Burnie. So that's the wood chip pile which is exported. Local plantation wood chipped and then I guess exported to make paper elsewhere. So that's in Burnie, Tasmania. Today is Friday the 22nd of March and we're in Launceston, and we've come to the old umbrella shop, which is actually, it's an old shop, it's not an old umbrella shop, and reminds us very much of Grocot's Mail in Grahamstown. It's a lovely, it's very similar era with the wooden frames to the shop window. Very nice, and we're going to go in and have a look. This is the umbrella shop in Launceston, and these are actually antique umbrellas. And you can see that an umbrella was simply not to keep the rain off in those days. It was a work of art, it was a work of craft, and there's some amazing umbrellas here. I'll just take you along here. The reflection's a bit bad, but there's some beautiful ones. There's one down there which is really curious. Looks like made of bamboo or something. We're in the Waverley Mills. Go on. We're in the Waverley Mills blankets and cushion shop. And there's the story of the Waverley Mills. Basically everything in the shop is manufactured and refined in the Waverley factory. So this is the factory outlet of blankets and scarves and things, and I'd like to show you my favorite. I don't know why, it's probably nostalgia, but my favorite item is this here, which is actually 40% recycled wool and alpaca, so it's got the flecks of color in it, but basically grey. It sort of reminds me a bit of depression, you know, when people recycle everything. And so you can have a blanket, and that sort of reminds me of an old army blanket as well, with the whipped edges. So we're in Launceston for the day. It's actually 1 o'clock, so we've done quite a bit of shopping already, book shopping and blanket shopping and whatnot. And this is George Street, and sort of very Adelaidean in its vintage. You know, the buildings look like that at the top, and then at the bottom you've got the little businesses underneath. And this is not the absolute epicenter, but the city is over to the right, the city block. And I just thought I'd give you a bit of a taste of what it's like. It's also the main shopping piece, but it's not very busy. It's quite nice, you know, there are no people shoving you off the pavement. This is actually quite nice. We're in a sort of an adventure playground, hotel, restaurant complex called Penny Royal in Launceston. This is the waterfall. It's in an old quarry. It's in a waterfall which cascades down into this pool here. And there's Bev there having a look at the waterfall, and then you can walk around. There's the central pool with there's a restaurant over there on the right. And they've got like a little kiddies thing, little toy sailing ship with a pirate captain in there, and then there's accommodation. On the far side is accommodation, but you can do, so if you want to, you can do zip lining and go on those, you can see against the wall of the quarry, you can go on those walkways. So it's a bit of a playground for adults and children. Countryside on the way to Hobart, driving from Launceston. So it's like rolling grasslands with hills and mountains in the distance. Lots of sheep grazing. So we were warned that the trip from Launceston to Hobart is not a simple 3-hour trip, because they're busy reorganizing and remaking the road. So we've hit one of those patches. It's actually dirt, and the speed limit is 40. So very gravelly, so you lose a windscreen here quite easily, I'd imagine. So that's why we will be delayed and why we left a bit earlier. Back onto the gravel again. The sun. So brilliant. We've stopped off at Richmond because we're on our way home from the airport and we're a bit early. And this Richmond, there's a market, a Saturday market here. Well, it's really a retail area, but this is the famous Richmond bakery here. And the little outdoor area, and there's a tasting house where you can taste Tasmanian wines. It's very nicely done, and then all the different barrels with the different kind of wines produced in Tasmania. This is a little village of Richmond which seems to have capitalized on its cuteness because the buildings are all fairly old, and it's a Saturday, it's sort of about midday, and lots of the shops are open and they sell all sorts of like sweets and silverware and handmade goodies. For example, over there is that one where we've just been into, it does glass vases and drinking glasses and wine glasses, etc. It's very quaint. Still in cute Richmond, just outside Hobart, the pepper trees and the lovely old antiques, and there's a cycle race going on here, so there we go, cyclists even here, so very cute.